Bill Murray was on JRE, and he had to clear up a misconception about John Belushi. John Belushi is one of my favorite SNL original cast members. Obviously, it was started before I was born, but he's definitely one of my favorites. Blues Brothers, great classic movie. I love the music in the movie. It's not even like that. The fact that it's a funny comedy, it's good music. They're actually a pretty good show band. Obviously, there's Animal House and other movies like that. He had this unique style to him. In 1941, he was great in. He was that pilot. And obviously, Bill Murray is hilarious. And he came along the SNL cast a little bit later. I think he replaced Chevy Chase. So we're going to get into it. I don't know what this is even about, but it's going to be interesting because I'm sure it's a viral moment and people have been waiting to hear about this. So let's get into it.
Rogan experience.
So, but however, when I read Wired, the book written by, what's his name, Woodward, about Belushi, I read like 5 pages of Wired, and I went, oh my God, they framed Nixon. like, all of a sudden I went, oh my God, if this is what he writes about my friend that I've known, for half my adult life, which is completely inaccurate, talking to like the people of the outer circle getting the story. What the hell could they have done to Nixon? I just felt like if he did this to my friend like this, and I acknowledge I only read 5 pages, but the 5 pages I read, made me want to set fire to the whole thing.
Jamie, see if you can
Those
find
5 pages, I went, if he did this to Belushi, what he did to Nixon is probably soiled for me too. I can't take it.
They probably did actually frame Nixon. This is completely outside of what they did here, but he was recording Nixon was recording everyone secretly or whatnot. I mean, the NSA does that just now. They just do that now. It's just a thing, or at least they've been doing it. I don't know if they cleared it all up, but they're probably doing it now anyway. So, yeah, they probably wanted him out. I don't think they like Nixon. He was a very popular president at the time. If you go back and look at those elections, yeah.
And I know you say, well, you could have 2 sources and everything like that. But the 2 sources that he had, if he had them for the Wired book, were so far outside the inner circle that it was criminal, cruel. And the reasoning for it is that the most famous person ever to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is John Belushi. The second most famous person to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is Harold Red Grange, the football player. And the third most famous person to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is Bob Woodward.
Really?
Wow.
So there's all my controversy for today. That's all I got. I got a bone about that one. I got a bone for Woodward ever since I read that.
Well, once you see it from something that once you see propaganda or bullshit from someone that and you see a distorted perception, it really opens your eyes to the fact that a lot of the things you read are horseshit.
I mean, Belushi made whole people's careers possible. He made people's careers possible. Mine would be one of them.
Now, I just want to say, I don't know if he's going to get into this, but talking about John Belushi, he died of a drug overdose, and I think they were about to start shooting Ghostbusters, and then Bill Murray filled in for that, took that role, and you can actually, if you look at that Peter Venkman kind of character, it looks like I think John Belushi would have nailed that role. I could picture him getting slimed in the hallway at the end and like dancing in the streets, just being a little crazy, talking about ghosts. I think it would have been great. What a great pause. Right on his nose. That's disgusting.
All the people that he dragged to New York. He went to New York first. He broke into New York. He took over New York. And he dragged all of us from the second city, to New York. He's the one that got everyone there. And there are musicians, and lots of them, that will thank Belushi for the creation of, the revivification of the blues. And for the fact that there's a House of Blues chain that blues players can go and play. And there are all these venues that wouldn't have existed without Belushi.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things for people. There's a lot of people that slept on John Belushi's couch. There's a lot of people that stayed for free at his house. until they made it in New York. And I'm one. And any he died in an unfortunate way. But the man, when he was still the best stage actor I ever saw. He was absolutely magnetic. You couldn't take your eyes off him.
I just want to pause real quick before we get to the end. What was your favorite John Belushi sketch? Like, of all the things there, I already said the Blues Brothers or whatnot, but one of my favorites was, all right, there was Samurai Delicatessen. That was a classic, Samurai Delicatessen. I can't remember the other name of it, but it was that cheeseburger one. They're like a family that goes in to a cheeseburger, or like guy goes in or to a restaurant and orders some eggs, and he's like, oh, no, cheeseburger. It's cheeseburger. And he starts calling them out, cheeseburger, all that. And he has all of his cousins there. What is the name of that? Comment below or share a link to it below. I don't remember what the name of it, but he's like, this is my brother. He's my best friend. And then it's my first cousin. I treat him like a brother. And then it's my second cousin. I treat him like a first cousin. And that's my third cousin. I treat him like a fourth cousin because he's a little... Let me know below.
And he did a lot of wonderful things for each other. He was a short hitter. Guy could only drink like 4 beers and he was drunk. So the idea that he died of an overdose is hilarious. Like, that's what my brother said. He said, what, do you have 4 beers? He's John's dead. What, do you have 4 beers? Because he was not really much of a drinker, but
it was drugs, right?
It was drugs.
Speedball?
Yeah. It was a speedball.
Yeah. What was
and it was this, I believe, my knowledge, was like the first speedball he ever had.
Jesus Christ.
That'll do it, kids. Don't do drugs. It only takes one time. One time, bad stuff, especially today with fentanyl. It's no good, man. Just figure things out. Enjoy life. Get high on life. Be happy. Be happy you're still breathing. Don't do drugs. Don't. It's not worth it. It's terrible. Terrible idea. Don't drink alcohol. I don't drink. I'm going to drink it 13 years at the time of filming this. Don't do it.
So what was the Woodward interpretation? What was his version?
Oh, it was just he was talking to people like, wait a minute, you're telling me that guy over there, that guy who's that far away from the center of things is telling you the facts about John Belushi? That guy way the fuck over there is telling you who John Belushi is? It's like, wait a minute.
And he didn't contact any of you guys?
Oh, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I would have nothing to do with it. I didn't like and it smelled funny from day one, and Judy wanted people to talk. I was like, sorry, I know where this is going, and it wasn't exactly where I thought it was going. Even worse than where I thought it was going. Even just the title alone, it was cold.
So it's just exploitation of his death.
You'd have to hold me down and burn my feet to make me read more of it. So I couldn't say that it's exploitation of his death. But, guys that write books come up with, Bob Woodward's got a new title every 45 minutes for another book, you know. So,
it's a very disturbing thing.
It's just tough, it's like, so what do you, that's, he really, in those 5 pages I read, he tore down my friend with I didn't see any, there was no compensation, there was no balance in the 5 I read. And maybe I was unlucky, but certainly, if that much was, to me, was disturbingly ugly and like irresponsible to report, and then I can't imagine that I got so that I only found 5.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure Woodward does other things. I've seen him on TV, and he can be smart and everything, but, he's going to have to answer for that sometime for something, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't get a free ride not with my friend.
No. Well, you can get away with things a lot more back then when he wrote that book as well. It's there's no other venues for people to express themselves. Back then, it was like he writes the book, he does the interviews for the book, this is the narrative.
Yeah, and Bob Woodward, like one of the squarest guys in the world, gets to tell the story of what it was like to live in New York City in the 70s.
Yeah.
Really? In the late 70s and 80s? Like he knew what the story was? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to go more into that story, but that's an interesting It's an interesting topic. John Belushi was great. Hearing it from Bill Murray. I don't know. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out.